moving along with my responses here, we've been getting into some pretty ridiculous stuff that is so far. I mean, some of the earlier ones had at least some truth to them, or at least, some of them were even true, just presented in the most ridiculous way you could possibly try to do it. But the last few have been kind of just weird. So, this is, I think this is continuing with that.
And which brings me to number 10. They believe that Jesus actually had children with that goddess mother, which means that the Mormon cult is actually like a Da Vinci Code spinoff. Yeah. Tom Hanks would have a lot of fun with that. And so all these spirit babies are running around here, and Jesus babies running around this universe. That's blasphemy. You people are way out of control here. What in the world?
Yeah. Was Christ married? Was he not married? Neither the Bible, nor ancient sources, nor even modern revelation actually tell us whether he was or wasn't married. There is no definitive statement in official sources. The church's official stance on this question is that we don't know, and it is dangerous to speculate. That's the official position. And I'd like to point out here, he briefly brings up a still image of this article, showing the title of A Married Christ in 19th Century Readings of the Bible. But it's only up for a few brief seconds, and he never actually quotes from it, he just shows it. Now, if you look closely in the corner of the video, you can see the URL or web address for this article. So I looked it up, and it's not titled A Married Christ in 19th Century Latter-day Saint Readings of the Bible, which is what he shows. That is one section of the article. The article itself is titled, Was Jesus Married? And it discusses everything. It talks about the words of the leaders in the 19th century, but it also has a section here, A Married Jesus in the 20th century. So in the 19th century, they do quote a number of apostles that made statements regarding Christ being married. And, they do quote some references in the scriptures to support the idea. For instance, the marriage in Cana in John chapter 2, I believe it was Orson Hyde who believed that the fact that Christ was the one that was called on when they ran out of wine, and Mary went to Christ, and he told them what to do and everything, that is a subtle hint that this was Christ's own marriage, because why would they go to Christ if he was not the bridegroom? It would be an insult to the actual bridegroom. And that's not something Christ would approve of. So that's the argument there. That's the reasoning of Orson Hyde. Now, on the particular issue of this video where he claims that Christ had children, that's even less known. And the article even touches on that very briefly. Again, Orson Hyde quotes in Isaiah chapter 53, verse 10, says, Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. And Orson Hyde took this statement that he shall see his seed to be a prophecy of Christ literally seeing his children just before he was crucified, looking on his seed. So these were the reasonings of the early 19th century leaders of the church, the apostles at the time. But none of this was ever officially declared. It was all their reasoning, and it was always presented as their reasoning, what they believed to be true. Now the article, again, we go down to A Married Jesus in the 20th Century, states, as time passed, church leaders would eventually proclaim that there was no official position on the topic. In 1912, President Charles W. Penrose of the First Presidency answered the question, do you believe that Jesus was married? by pleading the saints' collective ignorance on the subject. He said, "We do not know anything about Jesus Christ being married. The church has no authoritative declaration on the subject." And that has been the official position of the church from the beginning. Was he married? Did he have children? We simply don't know because the record is not clear on that subject. It does not say he was not. It does not say he was married. It does not say he wasn't married. It does not say he had children. It does not say he didn't have children. And therefore, we don't know. However, I do have to point out just two things on this particular point. On this particular issue. He talks about in his video a bunch of spirit Jesuses running around. Now, he's conflating two different ideas. Did Christ have children in mortality? We don't know. We have no clue. Some people believe he did. Some people believe he doesn't. I believe he did. So, that we don't know. Spirit children, on the other hand. Whether he does at this time, we don't know. But he will eventually, because all gods have spirit children. That is the entire reason for the plan of salvation. The plan of salvation is to elevate us to a position where we are able to have children, as it says in the Doctrine and Covenants. Let me read you this. This is from section 132 of the Doctrine and Covenants, verses 19 and 20. A little bit long, but let's go through it. "And again, verily I say unto you, if a man marry a wife by my word, which is my law, and by the new and everlasting covenant, and it shall be sealed unto them by the Holy Spirit of promise, by him who is anointed, unto whom I have appointed this power, the keys of this priesthood, it shall be done unto them in all things whatsoever my servant hath put upon them, in time and through all eternity, and shall be of full force when they are out of the world. And they shall pass by the angels and the gods, which are set there to their exaltation and glory in all things, as hath been sealed upon their heads, which glory shall be a fullness and a continuation of the seeds forever and ever. Then shall they be gods, because they have no end. Therefore shall they be from everlasting to everlasting, because they continue. Then shall they be above all, because all things are subject unto them. Then shall they be gods, because they have all power, and the angels are subject unto them." That is the highest, greatest reward that a man or woman can attain. A continuation of the seeds, for they shall continue. To be a god means you have spirit children. Because you have all power, you therefore have the power to have spirit children. How that works, we don't know. But we know that Christ is God. Not only God in the Godhead and his authority to rule in heaven, but he is a God in the sense that he lives in an exalted state as described here, and therefore will have spirit children. Just as we will if we attain to exaltation. Did he have mortal children? That is a question we can't answer. Not officially, we do not know. There are some people who believe he did, some people believe he didn't, but we don't know. But he will have spirit children. But the use of this article, just to flash it up there, without quoting it, without giving the context of what it actually says, is a misuse of this resource. This article actually does a very good job of outlining what the early leaders did actually say, but also pointing out that even though they said that, it's not official doctrine, and the church makes no official statement on the subject. Never has. I don't know if they ever will, but they haven't up to this point. So to claim this as church doctrine, as the video tries to, is false. Whether he's knowingly lying or just presenting something that is false, I don't know. But either way, he's wrong. It is not official doctrine. There are many people in the church who do not believe it. There are many who do. but it is a point of speculation, personal opinion, and reasoned belief that should not be confused with official doctrine. Anyways, we will leave that here. It's getting late, and I gotta go. So if you're liking it, like, subscribe, and tune in for the next one. I'm hoping to get the last 3 up this weekend.